Hi fellow Cinchers, welcome back to the channel. How have you guys been? Happy New Year. It has been a while. So for those that reach out to actually know if I was okay, I am perfectly fine. Thank you so much for all the love. As you can see, I am fine. I've just been busy with some personal stuff, so I could not film for my channel, but I'm finally back. So today we are going to be learning how to make this side twist dress. Please, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to leave a comment. Thank you so much. Let's get into it. So for today's tutorial, you're going to be needing a stretchy fabric, either lycra, crepe, or whatever fabric you can lay your hand on. Just make sure it's stretchy. That's the most important thing. Make sure it's stretchy. So what you're going to do next is to fold your pattern paper into two, just as you can see, because we are going to be drafting this pattern on fold. So just as you can see now, go ahead and then fold your pattern into two. So after folding, the next thing you're going to do is to mark your starting point. So I'm just going to use my ruler. That's 2 inches there. So I'm going to take that point as my shoulder line, and then this is also the front part. So after doing that, all I'm going to do now is to come down by 3.5 inches. So this is actually my neck depth, and then for the width I'm going to also maintain the same 3.5 inches, and then I'll go ahead and then create my neckline, just as you can see now. So after creating my neckline, the next thing I'm going to do is to go in by my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 7, because my shoulder is 14, and then I'm going to come down by 8 inches. So come down by whatever your chest line is. Okay, so you can actually divide your round bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5 inch for those that doesn't know how to get their chest line. So I'm going to go ahead and then mark out my chest line, and then I'll also label it out as my chest line. So the next thing I'm going to do is to repeat my shoulder measurement on my chest line, then connect it back to the shoulder line, just as you can see me do now. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to come down by 1.5 inch as my shoulder slant, and then connect it back to my neckline like so. So after doing that, I'm going to find the midpoint of what I have left by folding my tape into 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and mark the midpoint and then go in by 1/2 inch, just as you can see. So after doing that, I'm going to take my curve and then connect it back to my shoulder slant, and then I'm going to go ahead and then mark my bust point. Just as you can see, my shoulder to bust point is 10 inches. So whatever yours is, go ahead and mark it, and then I'm going to create my bust point line, and then also label it out as my bust point. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to go in by my half length, which is my shoulder to waistline. Mine is 16 inches, just as you can see now. I'm going to be marking 16 inches as my shoulder to half length or waistline, whatever you call it. I'm going to create my line and then also label it out as my waistline. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, from my waistline, I'm going to come down by 9 inches, which is my waist to hip line. So remember, this is not the standard, so whatever you use, whatever works for you, don't forget to also use it. And then I'm going to also label this as my hip line. So the next thing I'm going to do is to impute my round bust circumference divided by 4, which is 9 inches, because I'm working with 36 inches. And then from that point, I'm going to connect it to the 1/2 inches I came out with before to create my armhole. So the next thing is to divide your round waist circumference by 4. Mine is 7, and then I'm going to connect it back to my chest line, and then I'm going to come over to my hip and then divide my hip circumference by 4, which is 10, because I'm working with 14 inches, and then I'll connect it to my waistline like so, just as you can see now. So after doing that, I'm going to go in by my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, sorry. I'll mark it on my waistline, my bust point, and then come down by 5 inches, as you can see, and then I'll align it by 4 inches also. So after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and then create a straight line like so. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to go out by 0.6 inches. Remember, you can actually use whatever you want as your dad's leg. For me, I'm working with 0.6 inches, and then I'm going to connect it to my bust point, and then also bring it down. So for the full length, I'm going to come down by whatever I have left. So this is 18 inches, so I'm going to mark 8 inches at that point. So whatever extra inches I want to add, it will be on the fabric, since I don't have enough space in my pattern paper. So I'm going to connect it like so, and then as you can see, my hip is actually pointy, so I'm just going to curve it in a bit, and then I'll go ahead and then add my allowance. So remember, at this point is on you. You can add whatever inches allowance you want to add. So as you can see, I didn't replace my darts. So that is because the fabric I'm working with is actually stretchy. It's very, very stretchy. There is no need for allowance, but I'm actually adding because of the style inspiration that we are working with. So just go ahead and then add your allowance. So guys, remember we actually placed this pattern on fold, so we are going to trace out everything we have here on the other side. So I'm going to trace from the allowance and then just trace my neckline, my side seam as you can see, and then trace my hip line, my waistline, my bust point, my chest line, and then I will also trace out my darts. Okay, so just go ahead and do that, and then we are going to open it. So whatever your tracing wheel is showing, just go ahead and then trace it out. So guys, this is it. So what we are going to do next now is to get another pattern paper. So we are going to trace out the back, and then we are going to use the front to trace out the back. So there is no need of drafting another pattern when we can actually trace out from the already drafted front pattern. So as you can see, the midpoint is very obvious. All you need to do is just to run your tracing wheel through the midpoint. Okay, so just watch carefully what I'm going to do. I'm going to run my tracing wheel through this middle line, as you can see. Okay, so just go ahead and then trace out the rest of the parts. We are tracing just one side so that it will serve as our back piece. So tracing wheel is actually very important. If you don't have, try and get one. It's actually very important. Instead of stressing yourself to be drafting pattern all the time, you can actually have one master pattern, and then whenever you want to sew or whatever style you want to create, you just trace out whatever you need from it, as you can see. So for the back pattern, there is no need of including the darts, so I'm going to eliminate it. I'm not going to be adding darts to the back piece, so I'm going to go ahead and then remove this. So whatever my tracing wheel is showing, you might likely not see it. I'm just going to go ahead and then use my marker to make it visible. This is it for the back piece. So on your waistline, go in by ½ inches, just as you can see, connect it to the top, and then also bring it down. In as much as I'm not going to add zipper, I still need to do this so that the center band can actually lay flat. So go ahead and then add just 1 inch as your allowance for your center bag. So you can actually add zip depending on the fabric you are working with. Like I said, it's actually preferable to work with stretchy fabric so that you have a good result. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my 1 inch allowance, just as you can see now. So when you are done, go ahead and then cut out. So this is it for the back piece. Also bring in the front piece and then cut out. So to style, what you are going to do is to slit it open at the waistline, just as you can see me do now. Slit it open at the waistline, and then you are going to also slash one side of the darts. Okay, you are going to stop at your bust point. Please don't exceed your bust point, and then do the same thing here. Go ahead, slit it open, and then what we are going to do, we are going to eliminate this dart. So it's more like that manipulation process, but it's not entirely it. So just go ahead, seal off your darts with masking tape or paper tape. I'm actually using this transparent one. I don't have the other type for now, so just go ahead, seal it off, and then you are going to do the same thing to the other side. Come over to the other side, do the same thing. Also go ahead and then seal it up properly. So we are also going to repeat the same thing on the down piece. So when you're done sealing this side up, come over to the down piece, and then you are also going to slash one side of your darts. Do that carefully, and then do the same thing here. You can see I stop exactly where my darts stop, and then I'm going to go ahead and then close off the darts. Okay, so we are eliminating the darts. I need to slash darts to the end, and then repeat the same thing here so that I can do that easily. So just as you can see now, go ahead and then close off properly. So the next thing we are going to do, as you can see on my pattern paper now, I'm going to slash from the middle point to my bust point. This is actually to release the tension there, as you can see. So we'll release that tension and then do the same thing to the other side. From your middle point, also cut to your bust point to also release the tension at that point. Okay, so when you're done, what you are going to do next is to also slash. So just watch carefully, slash that to from that point to the side, and then do the same thing to what you have left. Also slash from here also to the side. Okay, so don't remember not to cut out, just slash very close and then leave it out like so. So we are going to do the same thing here. From the middle line, also slash to the end point of your darts. Okay, and then do the same thing to the other side. So we are trying to release the tension that we have due to the dart we actually eliminated. I'm going to set the down piece aside so that we can focus on the upper piece. So what you're going to do, bring in a fresh pattern paper and then place this on it. So this slash we already created, we are going to be adding extra spaces so that we can actually have that effect around the waistline. So all you are going to do now is to seal with your tape. So just seal it together. The excesses you are going to add depend on you. So whatever allowance, I think you don't actually need to stress yourself. Once you release that tension, you are going to have space. You understand? Just use the space that your pattern is going to create. No need to stress yourself in creating extra space, except if you want it to be very full. So this is it. I'm just going to go ahead and then mark out the edges like so. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing to the side and then do the same thing to this other side. So after doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and then cut out. Before you cut out, make sure you actually secure it with your masking tape. So whatever you are using, make sure you secure it and then cut out. So this is it for the upper piece. So we are going to do the same thing to the down piece. So just the way we slash, we are also going to just make sure you actually align to see if the first slash align with the upper piece. Is actually very important. You can see what I'm doing. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we are also going to slash. Okay, so to slash, just like we did before, from what you have left, just slash it to the side. Okay, and then do the same thing to the other side. You can actually see that I'm using my dart length as my guideline. Okay, so when you are done, you are going to get another fresh pattern paper. So get fresh pattern paper and then you are going to place your pattern on the new pattern paper. So we are going to create the same space you have at the top. So to be on the safer side, you can actually choose to measure. Okay, so measure the distance you have at the top and then use it at the down, so that at the end of the day everything will be equal. So just like we did at the top, when you're done, go ahead and then connect the whole edges together with your marker, pencil, whatever you are using, just as you can see me do now. Go ahead and connect it. Then after doing that, just go ahead and then cut out. So we are going to go ahead and then cut out on our fabric. So to cut out, you don't need to add anything. All the necessary thing we need is already on the pattern. So just go ahead and then cut out. I'm going to set the front piece aside. So for the back piece, I am going to add extra allowance. Remember, I actually use 18 inches, but I want it to be longer than that. So you can see I'm adding extra inches. So whatever work for you. If you want to add. If you don't want to, you can as well leave it if you want it short. So I'm going to go ahead and then cut out. So this is it for both the upper piece and the down piece. So what we are going to do now is to set it aside so that we can cut out the back piece. So to cut out the back piece, you can see my pattern is actually facing the wrong side, as you can see. So because of how we trace out, so that I can have it in opposite direction. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and then cut out as well. So carefully cut out, just as you can see me do now. So after doing that, what we are going to do is to go ahead and then join this whole pattern together. So I'm going to show us how we are going to join. So you can see it's still the same pattern. I just turn it the other way around so that I can have it in opposite direction, just as you can see, just like I said before. So to join, what we are going to do, we are starting with the upper front piece. So bring in the front piece and then bring in the back piece, sorry, the down piece also. So you can see I'm actually struggling with the edges because it's actually folding in. The fabric is actually very stretchy, that's why. So what we are going to do, we are going to join the right side facing the right side. So the middle point is the part we are going to join. So all you need to do is to align it together and then pin down. So guys, please watch carefully so that you understand what I'm doing. We need to be careful at this point. So just the round that we have at the middle point is the only points that we are going to be joining. So you can see what I'm doing. Just pin it down and then we are going to join by ½ inch. So go over to your machine and join by ½ inch after pinning. Join by ½ inch, just this point. So I'll go ahead and do that and then I'll bring it back. So guys, this is it. So I am done joining. You can see the side is still open. It's just the middle points that we joined. Okay, so hope this is clear. If you are confused, you can also ask questions in the comment section. So what we are going to do, we are going to cut out the strap. So the width of this, the length of this strap is 5.5. Remember, it's on fold, and then at this point is 3 inches, and then the down part is 5 inches. Okay, so this point is 3 inches, the length is 5.5. Okay, so what we are going to do now is to remove your pattern paper, and then what we are going to do, just put it on fold like this, just as you can see. So I'm going to pin it down. Remember, like I said, I'm struggling with the fabric. It's very stretchy. If not, the edges will be folding in, so I will have to secure it. And then you are going to sew. Okay, leave out the edge, leave out a few inches at the edge, just sew by ½ inch and then sew by ½ inch, leave out a few inches at the edge. So I'll go ahead and do that and bring it back. So guys, this is it. Remember, like I said, you should leave out a few opening at the 3 inches part. Okay, so this is it. You are just going to sew side by side. So turn it out to the right side. You can see this is my opening that I left out. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to pick the edge of my dress. Okay, one side of my dress, I'm going to pass it through the opening. So this is another reason to work with stretchy fabric, to make it easier for you. So make sure you stop at the waistline. Please stop exact at the waistline. Arrange your dress and then make sure everything is at exact your waistline. Just arrange it and then bring everything out to your waistline. Let your waistline be at the middle of the strap that we actually join. So you can see exactly what I'm doing. Repeat the same thing. When you are done, you are going to join it side by side. Okay, turn it right side facing the right side and then pin down. You can see what I'm doing. So just join it side by side. It's actually more like our normal way of actually making twist dress, just a little bit different with the side twist. Okay, so just go ahead and then join by ½ inch. Join very close to the strap. Do the same thing here. You are also going to join like this. You can see what I'm doing. Right side facing the right side. Pin down, just as you can see me do now. Also going to join by ½ inch. So when you're done, the strap that we have, just top stitch it at the side. Okay, top stitch it at the side. That's all. So I'll go ahead and do that and then I'll bring it back. So guys, this is it after joining, just as you can see. So what you're going to do now is to bring in your back piece. So bring in your back piece and then join it side by side and then pin it down at the shoulder. Okay, also pin it down at the side, and then you're going to join at the side by 1 inch. So it's our normal way of joining. Also bring in the other piece, join it at the shoulder by 1/2 inch, and then join it at the side by 1 inch. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring it back. So this is it after joining. So I am done joining, as you can see. So what you're going to do, you are either going to sew the center point by 1 inch, or you add your zipper. So hem the neckline and the armhole. So if you want to add sleeve, you can add. So I will do that and share the finished look with us. So this is the finished look. Just as you can see, I really didn't add zipper to mine because it's actually stretchy, like I said. So this is it. If you find this helpful, please don't forget to leave a comment. Thank you so much. See you in my next video. Bye.